You know, like when you're on the road, yeah,
There's no 9 to 5.
that road is from 24 to 24, 12 to 12. Even if you're on the road and you're making £5 a day,
Yeah.
you're on road 24. Even if
There's
you have an
no
hour
shutting
now,
up.
if your phone rings, you're up. Like when you go in studio now, it's like, raw, nah, man, I'm finishing it. If the song's half finished, I don't care if it's 5 in the morning, we'll go in again. And also networking. So like when you're on the road, you're dealing with different people. Not every drug user is homeless. You got some people that are rich that take heroin. You know what I'm saying? So even when you're on the road, you're dealing with people that are all from different walks of life. So you know how to network in it. You might not be knowledgeable in every single topic because obviously you're from the roads in it. You might not even be book smart, but just having common sense and street smart and knowing raw. This is this and this is that. Then
Same hustle, different product.
Sinners providers. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. You know, when the light's blue, men's mental health. That's what we talk about. That's what the conversation usually goes around. Got two people here. You lot have come to me through Jamie, good friend of mine. You know, works at the gym. You're his cousin, isn't he?
Cousin blood, yeah.
Okay. Talk closer to the mic. Yeah. So, what you like telling me, like?
You know what? We're basically. So I'm gonna start with myself, and
Yeah.
my name's Aaron, and I'm the co-founder of Making Change Studios.
Okay.
Now, we essentially started 8 years ago, and that came from me going through my own traumas. When I was 21, my brother was killed. I say my brother was killed. My brother died literally on the way home from my granddad's funeral, which is a mad story in itself. So, you know, we just literally put my granddad in the grave. So then, boom, we're meant to be going out. I'm tired. I'm going to Barcelona the next day. So I stayed at home. He's come to mine, grabbed a few bits, left, come back in the morning. I'm literally going to get my hair cut in the morning. And then my road is cornered off by the police. So I have to turn and do a diversion. And I can see like a car's gone into the tree. But because I'm so fixated on going to get my hair cut, going on holiday, I don't even really pay it no mind. Go, do my thing, come back, got my suitcase, my doorbell rings, it's my uncle. He's like, yo, go around to your nan's. I'm thinking man's like messing with me, and I'm like, yeah, nah, I got a flight to catch. He's like, nah, you gotta go around to your nan's. So first thing, what you thinking? Something's happened to my nan, innit? So he's like, I said, yo, I ain't going nowhere, I'm getting on a plane, because I think you're messing with me for one. He's like, nah, yo, you gotta go around there now. He goes, yo, your brother's been in a car crash. So I'm like, what? He's like, I said, nah, you're messing with me, man, you're messing with me. So my first thing is, what hospital's he in? He's like, yo, he didn't make it. Boom. So at this time, I'm 21. He was 23. I was 21. So obviously, I run round to my nan. She lives like 2 minutes around the corner. I run round there, and then I see the police car outside the house, and this is when I knew it was like real. And 2 police officers come out as I'm running in there, and they just look at me, and then I can just hear my mum like wailing. You get me? Wailing in the yard, bro. Like, yo. So yeah, that was when I was 21. But I'll be honest with you, like, it didn't really hit me then. You get me? Like, for
The
me,
grieving thing is like it can hit you at any time. You don't have to be straight away, and I'm just realizing that now. Like, I've gone through my big age now, not really losing anyone significant, I would say, like in that way, until I lost a friend coming up to 2 years ago.
Okay, sorry to hear that, bro.
Yeah, and like it says, like the way that you process it, you would probably think tears, oh, sad, this and that. Like, there's so many ways that it affects us as men that we don't process.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And understand, like, it takes probably like time to really understand what's really happening when it comes to these kind of things, especially in those kind of ways.
100%. I think there's a big thing, like, people don't realise there's a difference between acknowledgement and acceptance. So with myself, I always acknowledged it, because I come from one of them, like, I remember sitting outside the house when it happened and my dad pulling up, and he had the biggest smile on his face, you know, like the biggest. I've never seen him smile so much, and he just put his arm around me and went, yo, son, that's life.
Wow.
Okay.
You get me?
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Now, at the time, he may have thought that was a good thing, But what actually that happened to me then was made me feel like, yo, this is the reality. So there's no real need to be upset about it. You get me? So I don't think like it affected me for 2-3 years, like you said. Like I had people coming up to me going, yo, I miss you, brother. I miss you, brother. This was like about a week, innit? Like, oh, I'm so upset. But I hadn't really processed it yet, you get me? So I weren't even missing him. I might not have seen my brother for 2-3 weeks, you get me? Like, so it would be like, okay, I'm not really understanding. But then I remember at the time I was doing biochemistry at uni, so I wanted to be a brain surgeon. And I remember one time walking out of uni, and I was just walking up the road, and I was seeing, like, everyone's progressing. And I felt like the more I progressed, the more I was leaving him behind. You get me? So I got stuck in a rut. You get me? And that's when I think it really started to affect me, when I felt like, yo, I'm leaving my brother behind now. So, yeah, it took time, man. I was like, I was doing madness for a whole heap of time, whether that's substance misuse, selling, like, doing all kind of stuff, you get me? And then I had to break out. Got to a point where I said, I'm either going to end up dead or in jail.
Do you not think there is a part of you that's left behind?
I think you always got, so again, this goes to something that you said on a podcast earlier about you've always got like a hole in you.
Yeah.
And that's like where we seek. I think I've learned not to seek validation from people. But at that point, I always know that, yo, nothing's fully whole. Like nothing. Yeah. Even when I had like my first youths, like it was kind of like, you're happy, but you're not really happy. You get me? Like you're never really sad, because I have a thing now where something happens, I'm just like, yo, nothing really can happen as bad as that. So that's just the way I live. That's why I never get really riled up, or I never get really riled down. I just kind of can just stay in that middle lane now quite easily.
I think what you said earlier about your friend dying last year, 2 years ago. My friend died last year. It's funny we're all on this subject now. And I spoke at his funeral, and I was reading some Buddhist stuff. I was in Thailand before I came back to bury him. And I read this thing about impermanence. And it says, grief is the price of love. You know, and that really helped me kind of get some acceptance around it. And, you know, when I got the phone call about Chris, it's kind of like, okay, cool, well, this is what we're playing with. You know, we know what we're doing. You know, Chris was a friend of mine who I grew up with. We spoke about him earlier on a different pod. But then it still catches me now. You know, I was laying on the bed the other day and a song come on. I was in floods of tears, you know, and then my girl walked in the room. I dried my face. But she could see, you know, the energy in the room had shifted. Do you know what I mean? And she was like, "You're all right." I said, "Nah, the song just caught me, man.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere." You know, I don't know if that's the same for you. Like,
Nah, I've had them moments, you know, definitely. I feel like more so than anything, I try to block them moments from coming out, from moving too fast certain times. Because I know when I slow down, I really get into my thoughts and my brain starts fizzing up, bro. Like,
why do we do that? Yeah. Why do we block them moments? Because is that what we're taught?
I don't know, bro. I can't.
I think we are. I think in today's society as men, and actually I'd say especially as black men, like you're taught that like vulnerability is a weakness. You get me? And I even think sometimes, I think using the word vulnerable is a mistake. It's just being honest.
Yeah.
You get me? Like sometimes we don't want to have the honest conversations with ourselves, but ultimately a byproduct of that is vulnerability. Because you know, like, I mean, I know Birmingham's quite dog eat dog. I think people, if they do see you have a weakness, they will exploit it. You know, so we bottle that up. But I say, like, when it comes to that just means you're around the wrong people.
Well, I feel that as well, but sometimes I feel like maybe I avoid people as well. I feel like I do like his mum. I don't avoid, but like I feel guilty that I should be doing more for her. You get what I'm saying? Like I should be there a bit more. Like I feel like I'm not being the person that I'm supposed to be for my brethren, though, because that was someone that I love, like, and he loved me dear. You know what I'm saying? Like,
is that a part of survivor's guilt? You think? Do you get that?
What? How was that?
See, I get survivor's guilt all the time because I feel guilty of the fact that I should have been in that car with my brother. Do you understand?
Yeah.
And then I get like, yo, if I wasn't tired at that point, maybe I could have stopped it.
Yeah, see, I think that's what it is. Because I question loads of things like why have you got a brain tumor? Like you was building your business. You know what I'm saying? Like your family, even like the morals that you was holding, like, and just the way you was growing as a man, like,
Yeah, good.
definitely, yeah, like you definitely weren't your time. You get what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
and so maybe I don't know if that includes the survivor's guilt, but those are the kind of questions I keep asking myself. Like,
The same questions that keep you up, don't it? That's one thing that I learned to kind of process. That listen, I can question whether I'm doing the right thing or I did the right thing on that day, but ultimately, what's happened has happened. So I need to like learn to live with that. And I'll be honest, like my mental health, I think I'm quite a strong person. You get me? Like I know a lot of people when I say to people like me and Death are friends. Yeah, because although I lost my brother, you've had Jamie on the pod, you know, that's my uncle. Like I've had my other uncle was stabbed 37 times, murdered. You get me? So we had like 5-6 losses in my family over the space of 5 years that really were impactful. But I don't know, man. I think having a strong matriarch, I big up my mums all the time, you know, because I say, like, whatever I feel, what I was going through, she must have been burning, but for her to carry on and complete life, you get me? I still look at her life now, she completed that game, so I said there's no need for me not to be able to do the same thing.
yeah.
Do you think women are built different to us when it comes to that stuff?
You know what? When you say women are built different, the first person that you would say would be built different is your mom.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Oh,
like,
man, yeah. When I look,
that's the one person that you would say is, you get what I'm saying? Because,
Yeah.
like, you know, we go through life, we're battling against women all the time. But, like, what I was just resonating with what you said there, and I was thinking about, my mom is the one person that I can turn to or even look at to say, that woman is a true soldier. You get it?
Yeah.
I don't even I don't even know why I look at things like this, but like my mom's disabled, innit? Like I've been a carer since I was 17 years old.
Okay.
She's been in a fire accident in the house smoke. I've told that story multiple times, but basically she's been in some bad positions. She's had heart problems for time. She's been told that she's gonna die. Like she's got like 6 weeks to live, 3 weeks to live, 5 days to live, multiple times. And not to compare it to anyone else situations, but I've seen people pass away and she's still here.
Still going.
Yeah. And me and my mum, we joke about it. Like, it's not really something you should joke about like that, but it's like,
Yeah.
why? Like, you're hanging on, like, you know what I'm saying? But, like, realistically, that's the one person that I look at and say, like, when that question, like, if women handle it differently, I feel like maybe our mums do, you get what I'm saying? But maybe, like, in other situations, we look at women in other ways, or, you know, like, I don't know, it just depends on it.
Yeah, I was going to say it's situational.
Yeah.
I don't really think there's like a distinct thing where you can say like women handle their emotions or mental health differently to men. But what I would say is that women are able to talk more openly.
You see how they say women are emotional, and I think I was saying this to someone the other day. I was saying, you know, women are emotional, so they spend more time with their emotions.
Yeah.
So they're able to understand them a little bit better. Men are quite logical in terms of like
Definitely.
A meets B and C. Do you know what I mean? So we spend less time with our emotions. So when they come up, it's like, oh, what's that? That's a bit scary. You know, whereas women, man, they're just at home in that space, and I don't think we necessarily are.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So, that's why it will come across different. The logic mixed with the emotion in different scenarios creates different types of people, kind of like, or how you see people. Like I says, my mom's there to just be my mom, innit? So for that reason alone, you're the strongest person. You get it? But I don't know if we look at every single woman as in the same way, because I feel like there is a battle with men and females online, in real life, based on logic and emotion. You get it? But
I think, sorry, just to touch on that, like, I definitely think, I think it's a narrative and a design that's being pushed at the minute. Like, you know, they're trying to homogenize us. Women are the same as men. We hear this all the time, whether it comes to pay, whether it comes to how the way men act, how the way women act. We should all just be acting the same. Well, I don't think we should. I think we are built differently. Now, this goes a bit off the mental health thing, but I think with a woman, she will decide on her emotions. So it's less about the actual fact, it's about how they feel in a situation. Whereas I think with men, it's, no, this is the fact of the situation, not how I feel about the
logic,
situation. I think that goes on big at the moment.
I can't believe you've gone there.
You're getting us in trouble, you know, on the
No, shit, you said it. You said it.
But I feel like they're trying to do that with everyone now.
Yeah.
Like, there's plenty of things I see going on, and everyone's like, yeah, but I feel this way about this.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, you feel that way about it, but maybe you should look at like how you're internalizing the situation rather than that's what it is.
So you said equality, I was like,
yeah.
said that word.
Yeah, well, you need to introduce yourself as well. So.
Yeah, my name's Dan Hadley. I run the Pick podcast. We're a fairly new podcast, but
Yeah.
Where did we start out, man? We started out about a year ago, didn't we? And,
Yeah.
I gave Erin a call. So I'm in recovery from substance misuse. I suppose, yeah, so that ties in with mental health and, just kind of looking for a way to survive me, essentially, and it worked, it worked for a long time until it didn't work. Managed to get clean. And then what I've noticed as I got clean, my head's pretty fucked. So I'm trying to deal with that, and I have up days and down days.
Yeah.
And, but I like what you said. Your dad said that that's just life, and what I've come to realise is, it's not personal. All that stuff that happens to us, all that gear that happens to us, is not personal. Life is just happening. We take it really personally, and we can internalise it. And really, man, it's just it's not happening to me. The same shit that's happened to me is happening to everyone else or someone else at a different point in time. So yeah, that's kind of my story. And I relapsed last year.
Yeah.
It was a fairly horrific relapse out in Thailand. I was managing a treatment centre, so I kind of went from up here.
Did you go Thailand for the purposes of?
No,
recovery?
I was clean.
Okay.
I was clean already.
Okay, yeah.
So I was managing a 12-step treatment centre where I was operations manager. And just, I remember, that time leading up to the relapse. It was a really dark space and I said it earlier, we were talking, and I said, if I picked up, and I did pick up, after nearly a year out there, like I relapsed way before that, because my mental health had gone. Like I was a lunatic. Yeah. Managing a treatment centre.
Okay, but what got you into the actual misuse in the first place? Like, how did that?
Oh wow. I was about 12, 13, so.
From that young?
Yeah, young
Wow.
age. Yeah, just kind of started off smoking a bit of weed, and that was kind of accepted in the home, because it calmed me down. I was a bit of a pain in the arse as a kid. And then progressed really quickly. I went into the care system, progressed really quickly into Class A, so heroin and crack cocaine, and then I'd like to say did it recreationally, and I suppose I kind of did in some sense, because I didn't see the impact it was having on my life. Looking back now, it wasn't recreational. My life was all about just kind of surviving how I felt, and till I got to like maybe 24, and then it became the dominant kind of force in my life. And I didn't really notice my mental health then, because I kind of had this coping strategy. I got clean. I started to get clean when I was about 32. Yeah, so I've done 5 rehabs in the end.
So when you say recreational, like, obviously people have an assumption that if you're taking them type of drugs, crackhead, you know what I mean? Like running around looking for your next fix. Was it that bad? Yeah. Was it?
Nitty, did you say
Yeah,
nitty?
nitty.
Yeah. I was one of them too.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah.
Nah, 100%. It was like a Friday night, Saturday night.
Yeah.
Go out, maybe sniff a bit of cocaine.
Because these are the things that people need to understand and hear, because some people will think, I'm not that. You get what I'm trying to say? I'm not going to get to that. You get what I'm trying to say? 100%. But you're obviously someone that's already taken accountability for your situation, and then, able to see that you relapse and so on and so forth. Some people will see misuse as simply nitty, crackhead, conch, them kind of things, like serving to those. But there's many different many different forms.
I like to say there's always a story behind the story. And
Yeah.
So when you're growing up, you're right, like it could be litty, crackhead, all that kind of thing. But then as I've grown up, I've realised that, what's that person gone through to get to where they are? There's a story behind that story in it, and I think that helps build empathy and compassion for that person, then rather than just looking at them like, they're doing this. I mean, there's a time where, especially in Birmingham, there was a time where crack, cocaine was prevalent, right? Especially in certain areas. Now, you wouldn't even know it because people were functioning, because there was an economy in that area. So as soon as money and economy can run, right, you can feed your habit and no one really know. But as soon as something happens where it stops your income, so your socioeconomic markers become lower, that's when you start to see the things like, you're going out, are you stealing to feed that habit? That's when you realise you're dependent on it. Because when everything's okay and you're functioning, you don't think you've got dependency. You just think you're recreationally using it. You see what I mean?
And I was thinking, thinking about people I know, and I get a lot of calls. I get a lot of people phone me up, ask for advice. I've got a lot of experience around this stuff, and I suppose people go, but I'm not an addict, and I suppose it's really hard to the person in it can be really hard to identify whether they're an addict, and really it comes down to this, am I using to change the way I feel? If I'm in a relationship, does my drug use go down because I'm getting my fix from somewhere else? When the relationship breaks down, does my drug use go up? These are really, big markers, and really,
Yeah, 100%.
I think a lot of it comes from, it's like validation, isn't it?
We spoke about this, didn't we?
Like self-validation. I feel like when you know who you are, and like people have bled into you. So I was really fortunate when we work with young kids and adults. So if you've been in contact with the mental health services or criminal justice system, you'll get referred through to Making Change Studios, or you get the option to be referred through to us. And we use podcasting as a talking therapy. And essentially that's how I make my living, and we've done that for 7 years. So we do up and down the country. We use podcasting, music production, creative writing. So anything creative that you can have an outlet for your emotion, we will bleed into that. So what I find is that when I speak to young adults, especially children, I always try and say that, I can tell you not to do this, this and this. However, I have to understand that I come from a place of privilege. And my privilege is the fact of, like, I come from money. It's the fact that I come from a household with 2 parents. Do you know what I mean? That bled into me who I am. So I've always known who I was. And that to me has been like a solid foundation. So when we talk about mental health, you'll find that there's a correlation between broken homes, young black men especially, like I say to you. So we'll find that it's cultural, it's education. There's a lot of intersectionality, what makes people's mental health the way it is. So I always try to say to people, like, when we do try and talk about mental health, we have to really put ourselves in other people's shoes and realise that not everyone can stand on that and is strong enough to say, like, I can get through this. People need help.
Do
No,
you think we're all carrying a degree? I don't even like the word mental health. Because I like the word mental wealth, but how wealthy is my mental state? Do you know what I mean? Because I think we all carry a degree of this shit's a bit difficult.
Trauma comes in many different ways.
Well, traumas are really. I'm having a battle with the term trauma at the moment because I feel like every year there's buzzwords in it, and like I said, I work with a lot of
narcissist is a buzzword.
So trauma. What's it called? Trauma-informed recovery, buzz phrase. But what I try and tell people is I find at the moment people are telling people they're traumatised. Now, trauma, and our good friend Ian Thomas says this, it's not the incident. And I always use this as an analogy. You got 2 kids who climb a tree and both climb the same tree. One drops out of the tree and breaks his leg. He's scared to climb trees for the rest of his life. He's been traumatised. Second kid drops out of the tree, breaks his leg. Next week he's climbing back trees. It hasn't traumatised him. So trauma isn't an incident that happens. It's how you respond. to the incident.
Yeah, yeah.
So we have to be careful when we tell people, you've been traumatized. I see it happen all the time. You must have trauma. You must be traumatized with what you've been through. No, it's actually that individual and how they respond to it that leads to whether they've been traumatized or not.
Yeah.
I think
And also the support that you had, because the one that broke his leg and went back up might have had that support to like just confidence that like, you know, let's go again kind of. And the other one might have not had anyone there, and now he fears being in that situation again because of who wasn't there to support. You get it?
Yeah, 100%.
So that's a big thing as well. Support is massive.
But again, that's why, going back to my first thing, when I say I'm very privileged, I got a big family support network.
100.
So anything I've been through, like you said, like you can go to your mum and chop it up with her, and it's the same thing with me. If I'm going through something, I know I can go to my brothers, my sisters, my mums, my aunts, you get me, and just chop it up and then find a solution rather than like dwelling in the negative of what's going on.
See, you said something, I'm trying to word this in the right way. Oh, you said particularly black young men, but what I've noticed, black families tend to stick together. They're big, tight family unit. You know, white people ain't like that.
Yeah.
They're just not.
Not
like
all white people. Not all
gonna
black
say,
people
not
as
all.
well.
Do you
Not
know-
all. But
Well,
I feel like there's different type of communities of sticking
Okay.
together, you know?
Do you know what that is though? That's where we have to look at the class system.
Yeah.
The class system comes into play then. It's funny because I was having this conversation yesterday with someone about how I come from a very working class family. I grew up on council estates all over Birmingham, and we used to be out running around with bag of youths because there was a sense of community there. But once you actually start to have social mobilisation and you work up the class systems, so now you go from working class to middle class, which means basically both your parents are professionals, so both of them are at work all day. There's a lack of community there because people are so focused on getting the bread. And that's what happens. So if you come from, like I said, working class, you're probably going to have a sense of more community, whether you're white, black, Asian, Chinese.
Yeah, I feel it's true. Yeah. That mixed with that, innit? But obviously where the black thing would probably come into play more is that we've come over here and we've suffered working class for a longer period of time.
100%.
Whereas white people have had more of a middle class, upper class bringing, so you might have people within your family that are way up there, and the gap between you and them is a bit further in it. So maybe
definitely.
I'm not no expert on these.
We
things.
did a pod the other day,
definitely.
didn't we, on systemic racism,
Yeah.
and because you know I've worked in black communities and I've seen it, you know, and I don't want to go into that because we talk the arse of it, but
And not fighting.
But you know, like I'm all right with talking about it, you know, and what we come to is actually, you know what, these are the conversations, because we were getting into the pod saying, oh, what's the solution? And the solution was just having conversations like we're having, and not being afraid to say the word black or white.
100.
And I was thinking, you just said the class system there. Do you think that there's a direct link between mental health and class? Like, depending on where you are in the class? Or
I feel like mental health is suffered in multiple different ways. You know, like I said, you got people in America that have probably got in good backgrounds shooting up the schools and stuff like that. So, and how they would have suffered is going to be different to someone suffering from poverty. You get it? So I feel like it comes in many ways, different shapes and forms, and there is, like you said, a buzzword thing, maybe like without getting into conspiracy theories and stuff like that, but like social media plays a big part in everything, can it? And keeping people in certain mindsets and mind frames. I don't know if it's for anyone's purpose. I don't know if it's by design, but I can clearly see it's there though. Like, you know what I mean?
It's by design.
Yes, but
I'm personally going to say it's
go
by
for it. Go
design.
for it.
No, I mean, we have to look at the owners of Instagram, the owners of Facebook. They do not let their kids use this stuff, but they market it at kids. Because what we have to understand is that controlling the narrative is power, like data is power. Data's like the most powerful thing today.
It's a new oil.
Yeah, exactly.
100.
It is. Exactly. It's the new oil. So the more people that you can get onto a platform hooked, it's the same. It's exactly the same reason.
it's all about watch time. It's all about how much time you spend on this app. It's all about how you feel. It's all about how you can monetize that feeling. You know, algorithms. You know what I mean? It's all about chasing that. That's what people have become now, chasing algorithms.
But again, they've managed to monetize validation.
Yeah.
See, we used to maybe listen to music, right? So you go for a breakup, you go and listen to a song and that validates the way you feel.
Now you see a meme.
Now you see a meme.
Yeah.
Now you'll get people on a podcast talking about.
I was just about to say,
Even
here we
that.
are,
Like-
do the
And
pod,
I'll clip this and I'll put the music behind it, and you'll feel a certain way. You get it?
feeding the beast.
Yeah.
That's all it is now. It's about feeling base, and I do genuinely think it is by design. Which, you know, like I personally, the work I do isn't in social media, so I don't really mind. But I do think it's just a tool in the same essence. Like, if you really peep how you're using something, so it's intention in your intentions, you know. So if you go on social media with the intent to learn something, right, rather than just death scroll, it's a powerful tool and it's good. If you're just going on there because you're just going on social media, then because all you're
You
going
can
to end
feel
up,
loads of things, different things.
because you're comparing yourself to people's highlight reels 24/7.
I think I've been there. I think you have to be more aware of what it's doing to you, more than anything. Because when it was the Andrew Tate era, you know, looking for anything where he's going to give you information that you can hold against your gal was a big thing. Look, this is right. Look, you get it. And now that he's changing your whole mindset. He's changing how you act towards people, and essentially it's making your decisions for you based off what someone else is saying. I had to go through that and then think, nah, bro, like I need to stop consuming this content in this way, because I'm having an emotional attachment to words that someone else is saying that don't actually know me, and then I'm pushing them back out. I'm even sending a message to other people. Now they're pushing them out. Now everyone's being like controlled by one narrative that is not one shoe don't fit everyone.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're making it fit. Everyone's making it fit by saying, because he said this like that, it must be that, and I'm just gonna stick by that. But no, bro, there's loads of different situations, and I used to post a lot of memes, and then I started realizing that it's part of the problem. So I stopped posting memes altogether. Whether it's a good one or a bad one, it don't make a difference.
Right.
Either way, it doesn't make a difference. They're all toxic to me. Do you get it?
Yeah,
It's ironic that I'll be out here clipping up this now and putting out the information, but is that, like I said, it's more about being aware of what you're doing, and
well, self-awareness is a big thing.
Yeah.
And what I think, like, a lot of people aren't self-aware. It's like the phrase when people say common sense. A lot of people sense isn't common.
Yeah.
That's just the fact of it. It's like when you just said about clipping memes. Like, I don't clip memes because, to be honest with you, I just never really got them. So if I'm being honest, they just weren't my bag. But when you're talking about watching people like Andrew Tate, it's easy to feed the beast because it becomes an echo chamber, and then it's like having yes men around you. That's what it's like.
Yep.
So you feel like you said, you in your feelings with your girl. Yeah, I'm gonna go and listen to Andrew Tate because he's gonna confirm my bias to my opinion. So therefore, I'm not even gonna look for any other content out there that might slightly make me look from a different perspective. I'm just gonna look for the content that feeds what I want to feel.
And then, you know, when you're aware, you start realizing you can actually see through people's what's happening in their life based on the memes that they post. You can tell that people are going through some shit. You can tell that people are maybe pretending even like that they're happy just by posting memes that they're happy. You don't need to do that.
You can do that with music. Like, you listen to music. I have to be careful what music I listen to around certain people. Because it's like,
That's going through
what are you thinking about?
But like I think you said it earlier, but with the music thing, if you're listening to it to yourself, then you're not putting it back to the universe. Then maybe that's what you're using to maybe cope through certain situations, which is cool. But if you're putting it back out there and it's like one of those tunes where it's like F you, then you're pushing a toxic narrative back out to the universe, back out to people, that everyone starts becoming the same. You know what I mean? So like I said, it's just about how you how aware you are of what you're pushing out, and who's receiving it as well, or who the message is for. Because 9 times out of 10, if you ask someone, who was that post for, who's that message for, they'll probably lie to you and say, oh, no, I just felt this on it.
But you know, it's for someone.
It's for someone. You get what I'm saying?
Definitely.
Yeah.
You said then about what, it's okay, well, listen, do you know, I was in a Christian rehab, yeah, and you weren't allowed to listen to certain types of music, and I was like, oh, this is just bullshit, man. You know? And then...
What, in the rehab?
In the rehab,
Okay,
Christian
yeah.
rehab, you couldn't listen to certain genres of music. We weren't allowed to watch films over 12 as well. I think that was probably a stretch too far, but all these junkies watching fucking Mary Poppins on a Saturday, man. Yeah, trust me, you have to believe it. And anyway, so I started to like, okay, cool, I'll go with what they're asking. I won't listen to a certain type of music. And then...
hold on, can I ask, what was the type of music?
And then I managed to... Listen, I got some Eminem. It was like scoring. Trust me, yeah. I got some Eminem. So here I am listening to Eminem. My attitude changed.
Yeah.
My attitude changed. Yeah,
For the worse.
My thinking changed.
Yeah.
No, I just thought I was bad for a bit.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
But so it's important what we're feeding ourselves.
No, it's true. Yeah.
You are what you eat.
There you go. You are what you eat in more senses than one.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I think it's... Yeah. Anyway, you mentioned something a minute ago. Andrew Tate. What's the hating on Andrew Tate? He's all right.
Nah, but he's all right.
What is Andrew Tate?
I don't know. So
Listen, like I
don't
said,
like to say.
the irony is it that Sinners podcast we push out loads of different pieces of content. So I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm some angel. But like I said, more than anything, you just gotta be aware the person that you're listening to and taking advice off could be the best person, but the way that you're giving it back out, it could be the wrong, because you're gonna give it back to someone who's gonna take it in the way that you're not.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You know what it is? Sometimes it's not the message. So the reason why I don't listen to Andrew Tate personally is not because I think like everything he says is wrong. I mean, no one's wrong all the time. But I was gonna say it's not everything he says is wrong. But what it is it's not the message, it's the delivery sometimes. And that's what I think people need to check when they're talking to people. Because it's easy, like I said, if you're talking to 15-year-olds, 14-year-olds, and you're telling them, like, I don't like people when people say, like, yo, if you're in your bed depressed, and again, this goes back feeding into mental health. If you're in your bed depressed, you're a loser. Get up, do this, do that. So it's not that I'm not saying, like, yo, you are like a lot of things are mind over matter. So a lot of things that he says, it's not that I disagree with. It's just the delivery. There's a lot of things he says that Muhammad Ali used to say.
Yeah.
You understand? But the delivery.
So here's what it is now. That's what I'm saying, because it's a conversation I had the other day. We're in a world now where you can monetize just being you in a certain way.
Yeah.
And then it gets to a point where where's the line? Because if I talk like this, people are gonna buy it more, and it's gonna make me the business. So now everyone's becoming this person that is profitable.
Yes.
Do you get it? And then obviously that's going to make someone like you not like the delivery, but that's profitable for him. If he changes his delivery, no one doesn't listen.
Yeah, I get that.
You know what I mean? And that's the world that we're in now. Like, we're monetizing everything. We're monetizing mental health. 100%. Do you get it? People are going to feel a certain way about this content now. And off the back of it, they might buy into you. And that's what a lot of people are doing right now. Like, preying off people's mental health and selling courses or selling this and that, which is, bro, business is business. At the end of the day, everything is manipulation. It's business.
100% persuasion, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, so I think, like you said, a lot of people are monetizing off mental health, and me and my business partner have this discussion all the time about how there's a lot of people in mental health who really don't care about mental health. They're just in it because it's something that they feel they can slip into. So now everyone's got mental health. I feel like you said, you don't like the word mental health. It's not that I dislike the word mental health, but I feel like people don't know how to differentiate between mental health. You can be sad, doesn't mean you're depressed. So stop saying you're depressed. You can feel anxious, doesn't mean you have anxiety. They're different things. Yeah. So I feel like when you've got mental health diagnosis and it comes from a place, and I mean a real mental health diagnosis, it can come from a place of whether it's a chemical imbalance or like an acute trauma that's happened and that's built up over time, so it's manifested into mental health. So them things do play a role in society, but I do feel that there are spaces now where people are just jumping into mental health and saying, oh, I've got mental health, or I feel like this.
It's a victim mindset in some ways. It's obviously, I don't want to be calling everyone victims that feel like they got mental health, but like that's why I would, for someone like Andrew Tate, I would listen to the fact that he's saying it don't exist. that helps me to get through situations or understand myself better. Because if I convince myself that these things exist, the biggest situation can crush me.
Yes.
Do you get it?
Yeah,
So sometimes you got to take some of the things that you've seen maybe online or from conversations and apply it to yourself in a way that can help you in it.
Yeah.
And if you take information in a way where that person's sad and depressed and looks like they're getting help, you might curl up in the ball looking for certain help that might not come.
Yeah.
Do you get it?
Yeah.
And that's not productive either, is it? Obviously, it's a mad game to be in to even.
Well, it is, but this is when we talk again about the plethora of mental health, because realistically, we're talking about the most acute symptoms of mental health. So something that might work for someone who's sad or depressed will not work for someone who's got schizophrenia.
Yeah.
So if I've got schizophrenia, I'm listening to understand, he's going, you don't need meds, or you don't need this, you just need to go to the gym. Your man comes off his meds, off his meds, 3 months later, boom, he's in psychosis. You know what I mean? Next thing is chopping someone up or doing a madness.
Yeah.
So really, we have to know, one, who we're validating, who we're listening to, two, their credentials. Like, just because, again, like you just said, just because something works for you doesn't mean that it's going to work for the next person.
That's what I'm saying. It's true. Everything you're saying is facts, bro. Like, that's what I'm saying. For me, personally, I will take in that information. I'm not putting it back out there no more. Whereas a period of time where I'll be promoting
what someone else has said.
I can't do that no more, bro, because it's the toxic energy that you're putting back out there. That's, like I said, not even with the positive ones. I'll rarely put up a meme. You get it? The only thing that I'm really going to be doing is promoting my own business. Do you get it? And you can see that's what it is. The purpose of what you see is promo for what I got going on, rather than how I feel. Because you might attach your feeling to me and your situation is totally different to mine. You get it?
It's like, again, going back to social media and how that plays a role, it's like it's allowed everyone to speak with such chest that what they think is factual. And that's what I think one of the biggest dangers of social media is, really, like, everyone's an expert now. It's like, and that it's all right, one thing being heard, but when, like I said, when I try and speak to people, I always try and say, like, this is just a perspective. I'm not an expert. I'm not smart enough. It's like when people talk to me about God, and I say, I'm not religious, but I'm not smart enough to ever say to you there's no God, so I'm never going to say to you there's no God. I'm not that smart. I just got a perspective and a belief, and that's it.
I think it's important, isn't it, to you know, whenever I'm working with people, I always say, look, what do you think? You know, give people agency. You know, and you know, some people don't realise they have that. You know, when someone says, like, what do you think? And I mean in a genuine way. What do you think? Because only you know. It's like people wake up and go, oh shit, I didn't know.
Power of listening, man.
I didn't know I knew. Like, the, you know, I'm we say this in recovery, like, you know, I'm the problem, but I'm also the solution. You know, like, you know, I can figure this out, you know. I think it's really important.
Everyone wants to speak, no one wants to listen. That's a big thing. And getting people to understand that is even a bigger task. But this is why, like, just normal conversations like this, they're healthy, bro. You get what I'm saying?
100%.
That's why I kind of like to listen to podcasts as well. That's why I'm even in this space. That's why I'm even doing this in this particular way. This is why when you, like, sat down, I don't need to know you. I don't need no scripts or nothing. We'll figure it out on the podcast. If we go in a certain direction, we'll just put it on a certain light so we know. We can
change.
Do you
know, I said to someone yesterday, I said, I asked them, I said, how are you? And then before they answered, I said, what I'm really saying is, ask me how I am. And she just went, yeah, I know. Because I'm not, you know, I'm feeling away, and that's an opening. Ask me how I am.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, imagine if more people thought like that, you know, and just went, actually, what I'm, you know, because I have enough awareness to say, actually, it's funny, I didn't have enough courage to say I'm feeling vulnerable. I'm not feeling quite centered. And I want to talk about that. But what I did instead was ask her how she was. And then backed it up. Ask me how I am. Because that's what I'm really wanting to do. Like, you know, the vulnerability came after the ego. Do you know what I mean?
No, 100%. Yeah.
Do you think that podcasting's helped you, as in terms of conversationing?
100%. I'm not the best conversational person at all, bro. Not even slightly. I used to consume podcasts a lot before I even started, and now we've got people that want to be in this space, that want to do content and things like this in the space, and I can see where they could improve and where they can do better. I can see where I can as well, and I'm constantly trying to improve. I can see my flaws and all them things, so I'm trying to help others be better in this space. Whether it's just projecting your voice, whether it's understanding how to keep a conversation flowing, whether you're understanding what the purpose of the content is for, you get it. So it's helped in all of those ways, and then it's helped me to look at people and understand who I'm talking to and who I'm in front of and what they may give back to me. Do you get it? Like, we have all sorts of people that could be in all sorts of different situations. People look at the podcast, and just rubbish it for just like on a surface level. Oh, you just got those type of people on rare. There's so much analytics from just the conversations, the way that people talk, that I enjoy watching, and just consuming the content from that alone. Just little words and little things that happen, little funny moments that people ain't clocking. I love it all, bro. Just for the conversational aspect, that people can come here, don't know each other, have a conversation, bro. Do you get it?
Yeah.
That's what I like. And getting people to understand that is the biggest thing, you get what I'm saying? Because we're mixed with people consuming short form content, people needing content to be a certain way, people needing everyone to speak like this. Do you get it? I'm trying to battle against... No, I'm not even battling against it. I'm trying to be in the algorithms, but still hold something that is like something that represents what I like. You get it? So
How hard's that? Because I know that
tough.
for me, when I was podcasting, I had to decide whether I was trying to make something for the man or something that I wanted to go past and beyond. Do you get me? So it was actually hard for me to decide what to do when I was podcasting. Do I want to go down this road and have like my people on the pod and chatting and chopping up, or do I just want to bypass that and just go through, like I said, the route that I eventually chose to go down? What was it like for you, man?
Yeah, for me personally, this has always been some conversations. Bro, I'll be on the phone with my brethrens, like, not even talking about that, and I'm still on the phone. I could be on the phone with my brethren for an hour, bro, and we ain't even said a word. He's still there. You get what I'm saying? And then, but within that, we talk about everything, and it builds an influence to what we like, or how you understand me, or just more of an understanding. So when the people that you see around the podcast are people that don't necessarily understand technology, don't necessarily understand how to build business and all those things, but this space has allowed me to teach them how to use more tools, progress in certain ways. You get it?
Self-sufficient.
Yes, all of that, bro. And also, it's a unit that we can all, you know what I'm saying? People come down here on a Thursday, socialize. You know, there's man that's come down here, problems with their gal, take a seat on the sofa, watch conversation, feel better about themselves, go home again, bro. You know how sick that is, bro? Trust me, it's a sick feeling just to know. Man can just come through the door, have a little banter on the table, jokes and whatever, have a good show, and then just go about their business, go back home and just, feel better about themselves at the bare minimum, hold a conversation. Be a conversations get hold behind the scenes that's not even recorded. Did you get it?
Sometimes they're the best ones.
Bro.
Like, that could have been on the pod, man. That would
100%, all of the time. And even just now, like, you just walk through the door. The process is just sit down and just have a conversation, bro. I don't need to know you. We'll figure it out. You get what I'm saying? I'm not going to have no bad blood to anyone or nothing like that. It's just literally whatever you want to get out is what you give back. That's it. Simple as that.
It changes over time, doesn't it? We started doing that on the pick. So what we've realised, we just sit down now and chat, and I'm just like, just record it.
That's it, bro.
Yeah, and less polished. And I wanted to say, ask me about my pod. No, go on, Dan.
So what is the pick? What does it stand for, Dan?
I don't like to talk about myself too much. As soon as you've asked. So the pick podcast is an acronym for people I know. And what I realised, like I used heavy drugs for 23 years. But I met some really fucking cool people, like really just interesting people.
Sick,
Had all sorts of discussions, and one of the discussions I thought of was about my friend Chris, who passed away last year.
How did he pass, by the way?
the tox has come back, and it was a cardiac arrest.
Okay.
You know,
Sorry to hear that.
so that's it, you know. Again, you know, I want to do the man thing and say, you know, it's just happening, and you know, it's not personal. And then tonight I'll probably have a cry in the shower, you know.
Yeah,
You
how it
know?
goes, yeah.
And then I accept that's a little bit of grief. Thank you for that, and then I'll move on until the next time. Yeah, so Chris's mum was murdered 29 years ago by his dad, and she was stabbed, I think, you know,
14 times.
14 times, and then hit with a hammer about another 18 times while Chris was upstairs asleep.
With his cousins.
Yeah, his cousins and his
Yeah,
brother.
in the
Yeah.
next room, yeah.
So
And
what?
then, sorry, just to cut in on that story. And then the dad kidnapped the neighbour,
Tried to blame him.
tied the neighbour up in his house. So this is while the kids were all in the house as well. Phoned the police while he's kidnapped the neighbour. Told to the police have come. Got changed.
Washed the clothes.
But his clothes were in the washing machine with all the blood on. And the neighbours obviously like got nothing there. So that's how it. And then to go on from that, his dad got off with it. Yeah. Then ended up going to prison 10, 15 years later for attempted murder.
Yeah, yeah, same.
Stabbed another woman. So
Same kind of scenario.
Same kind of scenario.
Yeah.
Different woman. You know, she survived.
So, did the neighbour go to prison?
No.
No.
But so what we're doing at the minute is Chris's mum. She's been buried 29 years. She doesn't have a headstone. So we're raising money at the minute. You know, when Chris did the podcast with me last year, one, you know, I'm really privileged that he trusted me with a story because he'd never told it, and then I kind of thought then, you know, oh, do you know what? I want to get this guy's mum a headstone. You know, I'm in recovery now. I've got links. I can make some money, and so that's what we wanted to do. So we're doing that at the minute. We're raising money. There's a GoFundMe page set up. I think we got 600 quid, something like that. And then we're doing some boxing as well. So I'm like a really good boxer.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, shit, so shit.
You've been on one of Ginger's cards?
not yet.
Not yet. Oh, we're not even at that level.
Nah.
So Dan's come to me. I mean, I've boxed since I was a kid,
Yeah.
So he's come up to me and he's like, "Yeah, I want to get into this boxing
Yeah.
thing." Bearing in mind, I was like, "Can you fight, bro? Like, you know what I mean? Like, can you
Yeah.
box?" He's like, "Yeah, nah, I could do it." I was like, "Bro," he's going, "I want to fight Ginge."
Now, who did I say first? I said Jins, then I said Tommy Hanks.
Tommy Hanks. All these people. I said, "Bro, can you box?" So he's like, "Nah, yeah." He's like, "Yeah." I said, "Bro, all right, let me take you in the gym, man."
Yeah.
So I take him to the gym.
I was fluid, mate. What you saying?
You look like you had the flu. I don't know that flu.
He's talking it down now, yeah. So the guy who unboxing don't see.
Have you been like a gym person all your life? Like,
Yeah.
So everything's just.
But everything about me, just on a side
Yeah.
issue before you
Yeah.
carry on. See everything about me. See the size, yeah.
Yeah.
That's designed to keep people away.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
can't fight.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, that's what happens. That's what
Yeah.
most of it is. That's
Yeah.
what weights doesn't.
Yeah.
Like it's winning the battle before the battle's even begun.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But listen, the fight that was going to take place, it's all for a good cause. Is what we're trying to say. You know, we've got Chris's mum, who's at the centerpiece of this, and Chris is at the centerpiece of it. You know, and we feel that for a woman to go 29 years without having a headstone, and sadly her son's passed and can't fulfill that, and that's what was one of the things that he wanted to do. That we feel like, you know, we're taking up the mantle now just to get the word out there, trying to drum up some support. And, you know, Dan's willing to put, because boxing isn't a game as well, this is what I'm saying, so he's willing to put his body on the line to make this happen. So, you know, I take my hat off.
No, I
to you
appreciate
for
that.
bro.
100.
Do you know what, man? And this is one of them situations where I get into, and I'm going to be in there and think, oh, what have I done?
Yeah, man.
But I'm here now.
Yeah.
But I'm here now, and it goes to like just onto the mental health. You know, Mark Twain says, you know, it's a great quote, man. I've experienced many scary things in my life. Few of them actually happened.
Yeah.
And he's talking about a fear in the head.
Yeah.
You know, fear in the mind. I go through all these scenarios in my head, and I'm scared shitless, man. And none of it's really going to happen. Most of the time, it's going to turn out all right. And the kind of place where I finish. You know, I've come out of some dark places. You know, when I relapsed in Thailand, you know, one, I didn't think I was coming home. You know, I thought I was getting a life sentence. You know, you know, it's a big sentence out there for crystal meth and heroin. And another scenario I put myself in. You know, I'm sat on the top of a mountain with guys that I was informed were Thai mafia, you know, like head of the Thai mafia on the island. And, you know, there's straps on the table, there's guns on the table. Listen, man, I'm a white guy from Windsor. I've had guns pulled on me, you know. Just give them everything, you know. I'm like, I'm by no means a tough guy, you know, externally, you know, mentally.
You've been put in some
and I've got good,
situations.
I can run my mouth a bit, you know, so I can talk a good and probably, but after that, there's nothing there.
Yeah.
And, you know, so I realise I'm in a dangerous situation here, man, and then throw crystal meth use into that, and you know, and I'm schizophrenic, you know, not to take anything away, but I'm a lunatic essentially, and then and I'm trying to get on a plane to get home, you know, so yeah, mentally I'm tough, you know, so I'm able to, I think, listen, man, I'm in it now. I'm on the train, so wherever it goes, it goes.
So have you been training though? Like,
yeah, I've done two training sessions.
Yeah.
Man's flying. Listen, man, I'll show you some moves, but I don't want to give nothing away. All right, I don't give. I can move.
He'll be ready, man.
You didn't even see that.
Fight night.
Listen, I'll be ready.
Okay. All right, listen, I reckon we could do this again whenever you lot are ready. We'll keep it to the hour. You get what I'm saying? Leave them wanting more. And if you want, like I says, once people come here, just let people know it's a revolving door, yeah? You got my number, so even if you sit down and have a conversation again, bro, it's nothing for me to upload these, bro. It's nothing. So, and there's no time span on it. So if you want to come back and we just chop it up again, we'll do that. If you want to come on the main show or whatever, we'll organise that too. You get me? Man. But let's leave it there and say thank you.
Thank you.
It was a very, 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 very good conversation. You know what? I'm going to say one thing, yeah? I've been looking for these type of conversations where it's easily and people are more on my, sorry, it's like I'm going to be dissing people by saying this, bro, but like more on level for a certain kind of conversation where it's just easily flowing. So I like that, bro. So respect to you, like, you get what I'm saying?
Before you wrap it up, so you said you look at people and see how they can improve.
Yeah.
See, I'm a podder.
Yeah.
So yeah, go for it. How could I improve?
Lose the cardigan.
What's up with the cardigan, man?
No, it's going to be, listen, on the way home now, he's going to be like, is the cardigan all right?
Yeah.
It's fine, man. I said, I look good.
Nah, yeah. Now, like I just says, like, you lot are more on my level in terms of conversation. So it's like, you should just be improving anyway.
Yeah.
You get it? So it's just about, just understand your environments. You've come here, if you lot are doing better things or worse, or you take from this and just, that's it, really.
It's the same, man. It's like you said earlier, innit? I feel like, you know, mental health is an important conversation, but actually what more important is just building communities. And I feel that's what you've got here, innit? Like,
100%.
I speak to a bag of people who come through here, you get me? And like people who know you personally and say, yo. So from the outside looking in, and like I said, looking at the content and feeling like, yo, the narrative they're pushing this, but this side of it as well. So to actually sit down and chop it up with you, bro, it's like good
Respect,
thing,
bro.
so,
Respect. Like I says, anytime now, you're here now, so
yeah, man, bless.
yeah, we'll keep it cracking.
that,
Thank you very much.
Yo, Pat just landed still. 2 sets, I'm gonna pull it down. I'm gonna check it out now. Smooth still. Yeah, I'm seeing Leicester on the 27th still.
How much man have I helped in this life? Is too many. All I need is a phone and a like a sim. Now it's time to win, bro. Spending time in bin, but I still send him things. Make sure it's nice with him.